President Trump says a new tax law is boosting the economy. He writes in this morning's USA Today, on this tax day, America is strong and roaring back. Paychecks are climbing, the tax rates are going down, businesses are investing in our great country, and most important, the American people are winning.
Larry Kudlow was appointed director of the National Economic Council last month. He'll be involved in the president's summit with Japan's prime minister at Mar-a-Lago that starts today. This is his first network TV interview as a part of the Trump administration. Larry Kudlow, good morning. Mr. Director, I want to start with the question of the tax cut bill. When it first was passed, the White House put out announcements of all the bonuses that were being given out at companies. That seems to have slowed. Every dollar counts, but for the broad benefit across the economy, Bank of America and Merrill Lynch did a study and found that only 45 of the 500 companies in the S&P 500 have paid out cash bonuses. The rest have put them into stock buybacks and shareholder dividends. So give us your take on how the tax cut is working its way into the economy.
Well, I think it's doing really well. I just want to make one point. Share buybacks in some cases, but the biggest winner right now is business investment. That is huge. Equipment, technology, software, and so forth, factories. That's where the real nuts and bolts of this thing, the incentives at a lower business tax rate, both large and small. Now, on the paycheck thing, look, the bonuses are one thing, and that was great. But don't forget, withholding rates are lower, and the bracket ceilings are higher. So that's a combination of fatter paychecks for every single working American, about 155 million people. So I think we're off to a great start.
Let me ask you about China. Where do things stand? There's been talk of trade wars. Then some people have said, well, we're just in a kind of negotiation stage here. Bring us up to date, will you?
I'll try. Look, it's certainly not a trade war. I think of it as a trade dispute. I think both countries would like to settle this. President Trump is good relationship with President Xi. President Xi is a good, able negotiator. Look, everything's on the table. We can't let them keep stealing American technology. That's really the nub of this. That's what makes America the greatest economy, the most entrepreneurial economy. We can't let that happen. It's been going on for 2 decades. That said, we'll see about the tariffs. We've made some proposals. Nothing has been enacted yet. I want to make that point, and probably won't be for several months. Perhaps the two sides will be able to talk it through. Let's see what happens. So far, though, the Chinese are coming back with more constructive reactions. So I'm optimistic about that we'll work things through.
Mr. Kudlow, the latest poll shows that only 27% of Americans think that this tax bill is a good idea. Is that a good enough number for you?
Which poll is that?
Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, so let me help you on the Wall Street Journal poll. They're friends of mine, but that poll did not ask any registered voters, nor did it ask likely voters. So I got to say, I'm not impressed with that. Most of the polls that I've seen show close to 50% support for the tax cuts. And mind you, we're just really getting started. The paychecks and the withholding rates, as I said earlier. You've got child tax credits, you've got a doubling of the standard deduction, you've got lower income tax rates, you've got lower business tax rates. I think it's a winner. I saw this morning Gallup poll showed that, let's see, only 45% of Americans now think they're taxed too much. That's the lowest number since the JFK 1960s. So I think we're on the right track.
Larry, it's good to see you. You're there in Mar-a-Lago for a meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister Abe today. He's been one of the president's most ardent supporters since election, and yet he hasn't been exempted from the steel and aluminum tariffs the way other U.S. allies have. I'm assuming he'll be asking for that today. Will the president deliver it to him?
Well, I don't want to get ahead of my skis, as some people say. It's going to be on the table. There'll be a lot of discussions here. Economic cooperation, trade cooperation, foreign policy cooperation. This will be part of the ongoing discussions. We'd like Japan to open up some markets and help us, particularly our agriculture sector. Japan is looking to coordinate and integrate better with the United States. So we'll see. It's a topic. I don't want to get ahead of the story, though. We'll see how this works out, how President Trump decides to play it.
Are you advising him to do it quickly in the last seconds here?
I want a good, solid trade deal with Japan.
Larry Kudlow, thank you so much.